What is it? Oh, it's you, dear. You look like you've seen a ghost. What's wrong? Take a seat here on the bed and tell me. A nightmare. Oh, what a horrid way to be roused awake. You certainly give little Nemo a run for his money. Little Nemo, it was a comic about a boy who dreamt all sorts of vivid reveries. Never mind, it was way before your time. No, I vow to you, your well-being is my priority. I won't let anything harm you. Oh, gracious, you're trembling like a gelatin-molded salad. Your hair's a mess. Were you tossing and turning that much? Here, face that way. I'm going to brush your hair, darling. Now, here's a brush. Don't worry, I'll be gentle. Grooming another is extremely effectual at curtailing stress and fortifying bonds. While my sheer power can be boggling, my capacity for a light's touch is not delimited. Unquestionably, it's owing to my artistic aptitude. I am a virtuoso at the piano, and for such a talent, one needs airy fingers. My nickname in the music scene was 88 Owl, named so for the number of keys on a piano. Oh, I could outplay the best, even going head-to-head against Scott on the dueling pianos. Such a hoot those times were. I think you would have found it to be a gas back then. Mind you, we had our problems, like no antibiotics, and that repellent prohibition, as long as you were well off, or famous, or both, like me. Life was grand. There were so many technical and societal advancements and outcries against the status quo. Anything seemed possible. Perhaps I'm wallowing in nostalgia. But things seemed easier then. The world now is just a blur. It's too rushed for me. Vox is right. I do lag behind in the past. But I find it so much more appealing than the current alternative. God, Zeus, I'm really showing my age, aren't I? I'm sure the prattling of a relic like me isn't particularly engaging. That's very kind of you to say. even if it is a blatant falsehood. Oh, come now, I'm sure you grow weary of me eulogizing a long-buried era. I just miss it. Your hair is so soft. Seems you're really enjoying this. Humans are a social animal and derive pleasure from touching and being touched. It's quite humbling to realize that we are still very much in tune with our animalistic sides. Sure, we wear clothes and invent technology, but at the crux of it all, we're just beasts, governed by hunger, thirst, and pleasure. Some say we're susceptible to sin if we surrender to these. What do you think? Let me see your face. You're so red in the cheeks, and your breaths have quickens. Are my words that stirring? Perhaps we should change the subjects then. You'd like to know some more about my past? Goodness, there were so many chapters. With what's to regale you? How about something from my younger years in Acadiana country? Such informative years those were for me, and the bayou was my oyster. The town still relied on horses and bicycles for transportation, not an automobile in sight. Electricity was but a pipe dream there. Everyone greeted each other by name, and they were generous, so no one ever went to bed hungry. My favorite shop on Main Street was the confectionery. My lords, they made a chocolate almond fudge that was to die for. I would perform odd jobs around the town, from pulling weeds to delivering groceries, in order to earn pocket change. By the end of the week, I had earned enough money to buy a half a pound of fudge and a malted milkshake. While I enjoyed the milkshake, I would listen to the phonograph at the soda bar. It was so exquisite, sitting in that ice cream-cooled room, scented of sugared syrups and cola, enjoying my 5-cent refreshment while listening to those orchestrated sounds as they buzzed out of that speaker as if by magic. Each time I heard those tinny notes, they stoked a smoldering fire within me. I would run down to the bayou afterwards and pick the best cattail reed I could find. I would then sing into my makeshift microphone, mimicking the record's content. It was then that I knew I'd found my calling in life. This was before commercial radio, so I wasn't even aware of that world yet. In later years, I attended university to major in music. And it was then that I mastered the transatlantic accents. I landed my career at WWL shortly after that. But to answer your question about my weekend schedule, I'd wake up early, eat breakfast, help my mother with the laundry, and then walk to town. It was a collection of storefronts, butted up against the dirt roads. But it was a utopia for me. I patronized the candy store first, followed by my indulgence in the soda shop. There, I'd read the comics in the Daily Advertiser. That was a local newspaper. So enthralled was I in the colorful half-tone world of Happy Hooligan, Sammy Sneeze, and Little Nemo that I was oblivious to the yellow fever outbreak in New Orleans of 1905. I would spend the rest of the afternoon in the bayou, playing with a fake microphone, fishing for bluegills, and picking blackberries for desserts. On occasion, I would catch a snake and keep it as a pet, but they always found their way out of the cabin. I would return home in the evening, covered in mosquito bites and dirt. I'd be hot and smelly, but I felt fulfilled. Those days, in my opinion, were never wasted. And naively, I always thought they'd stay that way. But time is a cruel thing. It disillusions us and sucks the magic out of the simple things. That area, my Neverlands, was developed, drained, and leveled into a dystopian sea of tract houses. Even if it's all remained intact, I can't ever recapture that whimsy of innocence. I'm a jaded adult now. Perhaps that's why I outgrew sweets. Well, that's enough recollecting for me. How are you feeling now? A little better? You want to sleep in here? Very well. Because I am chivalrous, I will stay on the couch, and you could have my bed. Don't be absurd, you're my guest. So get under the covers. I'll fluff your pillow so it's extra comfy. A bedtime story. Really now, I believe you're taking advantage of my generosity. Oh, I know one. The Casket Girls of New Orleans. This story has been passed down for generations. During the 1700s, young women arrived from France to New Orleans for the purpose of arranged marriages. You have to imagine, the city back then was a colony of France, populated primarily by men. Well, to ensure that the colony grew, women had to be in the equation. And so, with the promise of an exciting new life, women of childbearing years set sail for the new world. But, as you know, if something is too good to be true, it usually is. And I, of all people, recognize a crooked deal when I see it. The conditions these poor lasses faced were brutal. Since it was considered bad luck in those days for women to be on deck of a boat, they were confined to the cramped, dark quarters below. They developed scurvy with bleeding gums, exhaustion from tuberculosis, and pale skin from vitamin D deficiency. When they docked, their intended suitors were horrified by their ghastly appearances. Each of these women carried with them a wooden chest, holding all their worldly possessions, of which they protected in this strange new land. Some people said they resembled coffins. Many of the men refused these brides, with bleeding mouths and translucent skin. And some even claimed they were vampires, toting coffins filled with the soil of their homeland. There was an absolute uproar throughout the colony. So much so that these unwanted women needed protection. They were sent to live in the Ursuline convent, up on the 3rd floor. As the weeks passed, the women regained their strength, while throughout the colony, men began succumbing to a mysterious illness. Whispers of vampires spread far and wide, and people lived in fear. One day, some nuns went up to the 3rd floor living quarters. The nuns unlocked the door, only to find the window open and the room empty. Remember, this was 3 stories up. People searched for the women, but they were never found. It was as if they just flew away. The entire 3rd floor of the convent was sealed with nails blessed by the Pope himself. No one has stepped foot inside since. The ends. And there you have it, one of the many vampiric tales of New Orleans, and it can all be verified. Do you feel better now? Just close your eyes and sleep. I'll stay by your side all night if you ask. Know that as long as I am around, no entity or nightmare will ever harm you. Rest easy.